You're funny.
Like I said. Like I said. Like I said. Do you like my tail? Like I said.
Welcome back to another episode of Iron Rage. I'm here with Cookie Monster and Lee Priest. And in that,
Are we right now? Are we right now? You got the mic lodged from your anus, and we're right to go now.
The microphone was lodged in my anal fissure, and it was not picking up, unfortunately. What does that say on your shirt there? Butts man? Morn?
Buttsman's Fitness. Buttsman.
Oh, Buttsman.
Yeah, the Buttsman, he's actually an Australian comedian. He lives in Newcastle. He's got a YouTube channel where he talks about stuff on there. It's pretty funny. He talks about this woman, vegan booty. Her name's Vegan Booty. She has T-shirts that says "Eat pussy, not meat" and all this sort of stuff. She's a nut job. And she's got an OnlyFans page. But if you check out the Buttsman on Instagram or YouTube, he's pretty funny because he gets little stories from the news and he makes fun of them and stuff. And he's actually a comedian that when he goes around the different places here, the people try and cancel him because he fat shames and stuff like that,
We wouldn't want that. Is that his real name, Buttsman?
Buttsman? I think it'll be his last name, Buttsman.
I love to think about, how people have these last names because, at some point in time when they were creating names, I don't know how many thousand years ago, someone in his family tree, it was a butt man. Maybe he was grabbing girls' butts in the town square, and they named him Buttsman, And
is that like the Indian joke about two eagles soaring and all this sort of stuff and Wild River? And why you asked me this question? Two dogs fucking. Is that
like Palumbo means pigeons or doves? So we were obviously the Palumbos in Italy were probably either the breeders of doves and pigeons, or we probably slaughtered them, one or the other. But I think we were breeders of them, however, because I'm an animal lover.
So if you come from the streets and your mother was a prostitute and your name's Sally Cocksucker, how'd you get that name? That's
right.
I see it all links together.
Tyler Shore, obviously his relatives were worked on the beach somewhere, on the shore.
Or maybe every time someone asked him a question, they went, sure.
I get that a lot. S-H-O-R-E though, so I have to assume he comes from the seashell shore, Say that. Fast.
Does he know Sally who sells seashells?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
That's your sister.
Kai Greene probably came from, he probably was, he was all about, conservation of the forests, his relatives somewhere, down the road.
I don't think they had that term greens back then. Maybe they just ate a lot of greens
Okay. There was no conservation, everything, they just chopped shit down. Speaking of Kai Greene, what do you think about the video that Kai sent me? He sent me two videos, actually. Maybe we could pull those up. Asking me, what I thought about him, the way he looked, and should he do the Olympia? I mean, what would you recommend to Kai?
I gave you my opinion. I said he sent me the same video, and I recommended a couple of plants and a rug in the room would look really nice. The room was looking very bare.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hold on. I didn't get time to send you a video, but I'll do it now just so you can see.
Okay. You got the moves too?
Yeah, it's just like him. It's uncanny. I don't know if I'm watching Kai Greene or Lee Priest.
You're not really hitting too many poses, though. There you go. All right.
What do you think? Should I do the Olympia?
I think you should.
Or should I just make a fruit salad? What do you reckon?
That's not nice. Not nice. Poor taste.
What? I didn't just pick out one fruit.
Too soon.
I was inclusive. Thank you very much. You got to be inclusive.
From what Kai implied to me too, he was on very, very light supplementation. So this is I think this is a pretty good look for him. I mean, can he get? I think he get in shape in 10 weeks.
Easy. Where he is now, of course, he could do it. I'm sure if he gets into his proper eating and gets on the proper supplementation, and the whole 10 weeks of getting in that mind frame too can change your body. Just if you're training for something and you get into that contest mode or mind frame, 10 weeks is a long time, especially starting from there. It's not like he's starting from bulked up or starting from being dieted down like you see Kevin in the days would do. Yeah. So he's starting from a point where some of the guys doing the Olympia aren't even at that point.
Yeah,
So.
you're right. Now, what's interesting is, I was trying to analyze the whole Kai Greene mindset, which is sometimes a difficult thing to do. I was doing a study on it. And I was thinking to myself, a lot of people, and we commented on this, why didn't Kai come back after the title was vacated, when Sean Roden couldn't defend his title and Brandon Curry won? Because that would have been that would have been probably the most vulnerable time at the Olympia level, where Kai could have just stepped in and probably easily won. But then I said to myself, Kai Greene would never do anything that easy, because you know what? Kai Greene is a drama person. He's about art and the story and the whole build up to what he does. The best, storyline or the ending to his story would be to beat Big Ramy, right? Who's the most dominant Mr. Olympia right now in the last how many years because of his size and his mass. I mean, imagine Kai coming into the Olympia and going up against, the final two call-out, Kai Greene, Big Ramy.
We're not even beating Big Ramy, but beating Bonac and Hardy and all these other guys, and all the newer people that have come into it. If he wipes all them out, that's the end. Because it's like what sadly happened to Brandon. If Kai had stepped in and won that, it would have been, well, who'd you beat? You didn't beat anyone.
Right,
Phil wasn't there. Such and such wasn't there. So he would have won the Olympia. Then people would have made it like, well, he didn't beat anyone. So it's like...
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice for him to come back last year when Phil was in the show, so we could have seen those two go head-to-head. But I think having an established Mr. Olympia like Big Ramy, who's very dominant, and Kai coming in almost as the underdog in a sense, gives Kai that dramatic need or that dramatic reason to get up on that stage and bring his best.
I think so. And it's like I said, people say, why didn't you do it before? But you know what it's like. People can say to you till the cows come home, oh, you should do it, you look great. But if you're not 100% focused on doing it, there's no point. Even if you're 98%, there's no point going up there, even though he'd look great. If you're not 100% focused on that, well, that's like the thing. And speaking of 100% focused, little Simone Biles, who makes my bile duck get sick in the stomach. Oh, I messed up my little thing. I'm going to pull out because I got mental problems. And then the team came out today saying, we're not here for gold medals. We're already winners in our heart. Fuck off. Yeah. Fuck off with that bullshit. So don't go then. Let somebody go who wants to win a medal. Right. Why go to the Olympics if you're not going for gold?
Right.
We're just here because we're champions in our heart. We're coming to sing Kumbaya and roll around on the fucking mats.
Well, no, they're only saying that, Lee, because they lost the gold medal. They only got the silver medal.
I know.
So
it's like now, because everyone's being coddled, everyone gets an award, everyone gets a trophy, you're all winners. It's like when you used to play a video game by yourself. They used to do it too. You'd play a game, say you got 5 lives, and if you start within 10 seconds, you get killed or start again.
Yeah, I gave that same analogy. I gave the same analogy to my wife. I said, that's what Kai's like. It's like playing a video game. I swear to you, I used the same analogy.
It is, because it's like, but there you can't start again. No. There you go, oh, I know what. I got the latest trend. I got mental problems. That's the latest get out of jail free card. Whether you commit murder, whether you do anything, the mental problem is, and don't bring up she got raped. A lot of those girls got raped and they still went on. Yeah. She got raped before when she won gold medals, but she still managed to get through it. But now all of a sudden, oh, it just came up at me. I was going over the hobble horse. When I went over the hobble horse, I pictured his cock. And that just fucking threw me off.
No, I think what happened is, what happened in gymnastics, if you get in your head too much, when you're flipping, you lose track of where you are in the air. It can be very unnerving, because especially if it happens over and over again, because then what happens is now you start to get afraid and scared. And I think this is why a lot of times we don't see these gymnasts competing into their late 20s. It's like teens, maybe early 20s, and then they're out. Like 24, which is what Simone Biles is old for a gymnast. And I don't think it's because they don't have the skill level. I think it's because you get too smart when you get older almost. You start saying, what the fuck am I doing? If I land on my head, I'm going to break my neck, Once you have that in your head, there's no way you can be your best anymore. You have to be fearless.
I know. Well, it's like that in any sport, Some race car drivers, they crash a car. They've always got that fear then going into a certain corner. Or even bodybuilding, if you tear a muscle on a leg press, when you go back to that leg press and you start loading it up again, that feeling and memory of your legs snapping, coming down, all comes back. So you sort of get a bit more cautious. But you're there at the Olympic Games. She went through all the training, so she must have known. It's like I said, you fuck up. It's like, okay, if you can't get back on it, then just don't make up excuses.
Yeah. The problem is that the coaches, she hires her coaches. So these coaches can't even say, Like when I was on a team in high school, if I was screwing up, the coach would grab me over the side. He'd be like, "What the?" He would tell me, "Get back in that game. You're not going to drop out." And I'd be like, "Yes, sir," and I'd go in. Now she's giving commands to the coaches because she's a celebrity. So what does a coach say to her? If I was the coach, I would have been like, "Let's get your ass into a gym. We're going to go over this vault 6,000 times until you get it back, and then you're going to compete tomorrow because there is no quitting." But
we'll even get a one of those like motivational coaches who help you more mentally than physically, because physically she can do it.
Send Mr. G over there, right?
Oh my God. Jesus. I was agreeing with John on the last show, and John, you used the C word beautifully. I've got to give you 10 out of 10 for that. But I agree with John. This fucking fight's bullshit. Stop talking about it. I told Mr. G, I was on live yesterday. I said, give him 2 weeks' notice, go down and just flog that C word. Yeah. It's like, I said, I don't care if you give him 4 months, 6 months, a year. He's not going to improve on his fighting skills or his fitness. So in 12 months, he could be dead. Yeah. So just go down and fight it out now, because it's just going on and on and on and on.
I have a headache actually when they talk about this. I kind of start drawing pictures when they start talking about that now. So.
But I like the photo too of the soccer team when what's her name, that white girl on the American soccer team with the purple hair, whatever. They said, you look like an idiot when you're taking a knee, but the black players are standing up for the anthem beside you. She's the only one taking a knee, and the black players are standing up for the anthem.
I don't know what all these. If you like you've said it, if you don't like the country you live in, then get the freak out. That's all there is to it. I mean.
Well, that's why I don't understand that. It's like the thing is though, if you're going to compete for like Bob's Burger Barn or competing for yourself, make a statement. But you're there, you've had all the opportunities given to you, you've probably got your scholarship and you've got your endorsement deals, You're making millions of dollars because you compete for America. The American team has flown you there. You're representing America and the flag of the country, and then you want to turn your back on it that gave you the opportunity to be there and make all this money. If you don't like it, get out of the team and go do your little protests on your... That's what I don't get. Why don't they do these protests on their own time? Right. Half these people are big-name sports stars. They could probably ring up any station and get an interview or do some podcast and stuff and do this the whole time, but you don't hear of it now. It's like this whole, when the BLM first started and everybody put up a black square to bring awareness to racism. Yeah. Well, if racism's still going on, why don't you put that black square up once a week to keep it out there? It's like breast cancer. If I see another pink fucking ribbon everywhere I go, they keep that in your face all the time. Yeah. Sporting events and shit like that. So where's all these black squares gone now? Crickets, until the next big thing happens. It's like, oh shit, let's jump on the bandwagon. Let's put up something so we feel like...
people are sheeply, that. It's funny because back in the day when I was having trouble getting a pro card, when there wasn't really many opportunities, you knew that. Well, what was there, like 3 pro cards given per year or something like that? North America, USA.
It's like North American, National,
And you had to win the overall at North Americans in USA, and Nationals was a weight class. But someone had suggested to me, they said, why don't you go back, you're half Jewish, you can go to Israel and get a pro card. Because, if your mother is Jewish, you're considered, Jewish, and you can go and live in Israel. That's their policy there. And they said, go compete there. You'll win the Mr. Israel, and you can get a pro card. And I said, I am from the United States. That's my country. I'm proud of it, And so, I don't know why people take for granted all these freedoms they have. Go overseas and see how they live in some of these countries. You won't want to live there.
They haven't got a clue when they talk about being oppressed. And this is what I hate too, when people like the big stars, LeBron, Oprah, and these talk about being oppressed. Yes, I'm sure Oprah experienced racism, being a black female woman coming up. And I'm sure the industry she went into, you're going into a male-dominated TV networking type thing where it's mainly male talk show hosts and male people in the whole industry. I'm sure she experienced sexism too, but rather than say this is an oppressive country when you're a billionaire, why don't you say, look, I got 100 knockbacks, but I kept persevering. I kept pushing forward. I had all this shit against me, but I kept moving forward, and look where I am today. Rather than saying you're not going to get anywhere because of the white man's going to keep you back. Look at all these people that are multi-millionaires who are of colour. Why don't they talk about what they went through to get there and let people know you can get there? You just got to persevere. Stop looking for people to blame and shit. So speaking of Jewish, you just brought up, did I ever tell you the time I had I was selling homes and shit? Because, I used to be in the real estate, Dave.
I didn't know that.
It didn't last long. It didn't last long because of people like you. I was showing this family through the house. I didn't know they were Jewish, and we had the kitchen and that. They said, I hope it's not electric stove. I hope it's not electric oven. I said, no, It's a big gas oven, enough room for the whole family.
Oh, that's not nice.
And little did I know that upset them, Dave, and they got so mad at me. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't say anything wrong. So I thought, Dave, you got that attitude. I'm just going to go along with it now. So we go upstairs, and I'm showing them the bathroom.
Is this a true story?
True story. I say,
Wow.
go in there, look at the shower. So while they're looking at the shower, I turned the light off, and I went,
Oh, you're terrible.
and I got fired. I got fired from the job. Go figure. I don't know why.
You're making it up. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
True story.
Terrible. It was a good story. If it was
I
true.
thought it was good. See how quick I can think of things when you just brought up the word Jewish. I just went to real estate, selling homes in a gas oven. How the fuck how does my mind work?
Yeah,
I could claim mental illness.
I'm going to tell you something. I took a road trip. You know the Grahams who run the bodybuilding industry in Australia there. Anyway, Paul Graham Jr. took me on a car ride.
Mm-hmm.
He had to drive me to some. It wasn't when I went to your gym. He took me somewhere. I was doing a tour of Australia to all the stores. He drove me someplace. I don't even remember where it was. We were in the car for 3 hours together. I never laughed so hard for 3 hours straight. You Aussies have got the best sense of humor, and people are so uptight. Like Americans would never understand your sense of humor. But he said to me, the reason why people like you in Australia, Dave, is because you got the same sense of humor. You don't take yourself seriously, and nothing bothers you. And because you guys will call each other the C word left and right, and it's not offensive. It's like a funny thing. I laughed so hard for that 3 hours, and you know what? I wish the Americans had the Aussie sense of humor. We'd have a much better country.
Well, you used to. I think you used to, because when you used to have like the comedians out, like Richard Pryor and George Carlin, some of these people back then, before the woke and cancel culture come along, you could tell a joke about fat people, people of color, religion, anything, because people knew the difference between a joke and actually vilifying someone and being outright racist. People knew the difference. It's like, I remember back in the day, I had so many friends of color, whether they were Mexican, black, whatever. They loved Blazing Saddles. And how racist was that movie?
Yeah, it was very racist. Yeah, it was funny.
But everybody laughed at it because they played on stereotypes. They played on this, and everyone knew the difference. But now you can't say, when they start getting down, when it started coming in we can't use the word BlackBerry, we can't use the word blackboard because the word black's in it. It's like, how can using the word black all of a sudden be racist? And it's like when shit like that started happening, and then they were going back through comedians' posts from 10, 15 years ago and wanting them to apologize for shit they said back then. It's like, this is just fucking ridiculous. It's like, there's so many things that, some of the funniest jokes are made on stereotypes, or they're made on things that are that off color. You laugh because in the real world, it'll make you cry and upset. So you like to escape from that, and you're laughing because it's so bad and off. It's like that Jim Jeffries, they'll make jokes about rape. Now, if you're talking about rape, it's not a funny subject, but some of these comedians do it in a way where you sort of laugh and you go, oh, fuck, that is funny, but it's still bad. But, that's what you've got to do. You've got to laugh at yourself. And that's the good thing. Australians, we laugh at ourselves as well. It's like we don't take anything serious. It's like I said, as long as you're not doing it in malice, you're just telling a joke. It's like you can tell a joke about something. I've made jokes before. I might say something about, Down syndrome and stuff like this, or, if someone's, like I said before, about if someone's got a twin, they lose their twin and they're all upset. I said, well, just fucking line your house with mirrors. The bastard's there every day. And he'll still finish. People are like, Lee, I lost a twin brother. I'm like, I'm not fucking talking about you, dickhead. It's like, I'm sorry you lost your brother, but it's like, whatever. It's like, you talking about me? How would I even know you? So, people need to just sit back and have a laugh at themselves, because when you look at what's going on around the world, you got to have a laugh. And,
well, look at bodybuilding. Take bodybuilding for instance. I mean, there are stereotypes in bodybuilding, right? Because we know most black guys don't have great calves, right? I mean, that's well known. Most white guys don't have great arms.
you say that now. That's racist, Dave. That's racist. But it's true though. It's like,
Asian guys have amazing calves. We know that. Asian women don't have a lot of butt, right? They have flat butts. I mean, there's certain stereotypes because genetically speaking, that's, unless there's mixed blood, like I'm a mutt. I mean, so I have a mixture of everything.
Asians can't drive. It's like we all know. It's like, but the thing is, I got Asian friends, and he had a crash not long ago, I said, how'd you crash? He goes, we're shit drivers. So
Yeah.
it's like they can make fun of it themselves. And like I said, there's all these stereotypes. Like I said, bodybuilders walk like this. Bodybuilders have small nuts, small dicks. Then it's just like we laugh at it because it's just.
My point is, that we laugh as bodybuilders at the stereotypes because we actually know they're true, and no one takes it personally because we're just trying to make our bodies as perfect as we can do it. And we know what we all know what if you know what your weaknesses are. I know what my weaknesses are.
Yeah.
It's not so when people point it out, I never took it like personally. I laughed at it because we know what we need to work on. I mean, come on.
Well, it's like saying a lot of genius people, when you really look at it through Tesla, a lot of the famous painters, everyone that's some sort of genius are fucking nuts. That's my excuse. That's my excuse anyway, Dave. I'm a genius because I'm fucking nuts. I don't know where the genius part kicks in yet, but it's coming. It's coming, Dave. Just
look
wait.
at some of the most talented musicians. They die young of because they're drug addicts and they got mental problems because they're so brilliant. They have such ability to channel whatever they channel to produce their art that I think you have to be a little wacky. Normal people don't do amazing things. That's just the way it is,
And it's like there was a joke, I can't remember what it was, but it's about even comedians, like people like Robert Williams and all these funniest people in the world who really outside of that are depressed or they're unhappy, but yet that makes them happy to see other people laugh. So because of their sadness, it's like they try and make other people happy to make up for what's missing from their lives. But when they're alone, they're all, I'm going to kill myself. But yet while they're performing, making people laugh, they feel alive and stuff. So, yes, Dave, I'm just going to wait for my, whatever it is, my calling to come along. I've got the fucking idiot nutty part down. I just got to wait for the genius to kick in.
So Kai Greene might come back and do the Olympia. So the question is, Lee Priest, 2022, what show will we see him at?
But I just showed you my moves, Dave. You got to pick it for me.
I don't think you can be ready for the Olympia in 10 weeks, though. That's the only problem.
No, I don't think I can be ready for that. Maybe to Miss Olympia.
Miss Olympia. How about the New York Pro?
I don't know about the New York Pro. I don't know. Is that in Florida, isn't it?
Yeah,
is that
has been.
I don't think she has yet. Has she? We would have heard about it. That female male powerlift hasn't competed yet. The Olympics, have they? Otherwise, it probably would have been on.
I don't think the weightlifting is gone yet. I'm waiting for weightlifting and track and field, but they're not letting.
I know one weightlifting did, but it was a lighter division because it was a woman from
Thailand, right, or something like that.
Yeah, first gold medal. And how's this, right? This is how other countries, like some of these people, Indonesia, I think it was.
Thailand woman who won the
it was a Thailand or Indonesia, one of those countries where it's sort of poor. We send money to them.
Yeah.
Ours, I don't know what America gets, but our athletes, if you win a gold, you get $20,000 bonus when you come home. Silver gets 15. That weightlifter lady from Thailand or Indonesia,
right?
She gets equivalent to 970,000 Australian dollars and a house when she goes home.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe you should become a female weightlifter and move to Thailand.
They do good operations there. I've seen some of those lady boys.
Yeah.
I'm only scared though if I look too good. I might be too busy fucking myself all day. When people say go fuck yourself, I'm like, I'll be right back. I might be able to keep my hands up. And did you see the Pfizer vaccine too? It was a big story.
I saw that.
It was it's making ladies' boobies bigger.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
You didn't? No. A lot of these women are saying one woman went from an A cup to a C cup, and they're saying that some women actually started because a couple of days after they got it, some women were getting like little lumps in their breast, so it was making them panic, thinking it might be causing breast cancer. Yeah, so if you look it up on the web, they call it the Pfizer boob job or something now. That's the nickname because so many women have been coming out saying their actual breast size has grown since they got the Pfizer.
That's a good way to get women to take the vaccine, right?
Hey, I've had two AstraZeneca and one Pfizer. Dave, you should see my cock.
Yeah, tell men their penis is going to get bigger. Tell women their boobs will get bigger. Everyone will be vaccinated, right? That's
I'm thinking that now.
That's how pathetic our culture is. Yeah.
What is though? There's a big story about it on the news. Because the first one I heard on the radio, I'm thinking, this is bullshit. Someone's just saying that for that reason to make women run out and get it. But
Well,
but it's actually a thing.
I sent you that thing. There's a woman walking around like demonstrating. We only fuck vaccinated men. With the half naked, she's walking around the streets. Holding signs.
But Dave, they don't want to get COVID to mix with their AIDS and STDs and all the other stuff. Do you know what it's like when you got gonorrhea and a yeast infection and you get COVID on top of that, Dave?
You know what?
Come on.
Can't they combine this COVID vaccine with like an anti-AIDS, an AIDS vaccine, and throw a couple other goodies in there as well. So at least it's not just one shot you get. You're getting a couple of vaccines in one. Like the MMR vaccine when you're a kid, they give you measles, mumps, and rubella in one shot. So you give COVID,
I'm sure they'll be able to,
AIDS, and hepatitis or something like that.
Why don't they just do it like a flu? I'm sure the COVID vaccine must be similar to a flu shot because it's a similar type of virus. So
there'll be a booster shot out, believe me, trust me.
I've already had my booster, but here in Australia now, because the gym's in Sydney where my daughter is, she's probably got to pull out of a contest because they keep moving the contest because Sydney's in lockdown.
That sucks.
They've been in lockdown 5 weeks. Gyms have been shut for 5 weeks. Now they've just extended it to the end of August. So another 4 weeks, all the gyms are shut. Yeah. And you got to wear a mask now when you go into the gyms and you go into shopping centres and you go here and go there. And then you don't have the scan-ins in America, do you? The barcode where you got to scan in.
Nope.
If you go into a store, you got to scan in. It takes you to the government website, so it tells them what time you went into the store and what time you left. God. That's so in case you get it, they can trace where you've been, so they know if you're a super spreader.
You guys your Big Brother's watching you guys way more than he's watching us over here in the U.S. That's for sure, man.
He's watching me and he's recording it because I like some of those porn tapes. So if they can give them back to me.
I have a client of mine. He's a good bodybuilder. He lives he lives in Australia, and he said he's in lockdown, whatever. And I said, yeah, how far are you from where Lee Priest lives? He's like maybe 30, 40 minutes. I said, I'll call Lee. Maybe you can come train with him. He's like, are you kidding me? We can't even go out. If we get caught going out, it's a $5,000 fine.
Oh, yeah, because he must be in that hot zone area. Yeah. It's like from Sydney up to the Central Coast. He must be Central Coast because that's like 40 minutes from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can only go like 5 kilometres or 10 kilometres from your house.
That's exactly what he told me, yeah.
If you get caught outside that, you get like $1,000 fine and this and that and all that
And the
bullshit.
funny thing is the infection rates haven't even gone down from all this stuff they're doing.
It's actually gone up. Yesterday there was 100 and it doesn't sound a lot compared to other countries. There was 177 cases in Sydney, 46 were out in the community while infectious. So now they've extended it another month. And now it's like if you got to go to the grocery store, only one person from your household can go to the grocery store. And they've started a thing for singles now where if you're alone and you're a single person, you're allowed to nominate someone to be in your single bubble. So say you wanted a girlfriend, you can nominate her, but that's the only person you can see. You can't change the person once you've nominated that person.
I bet you Steve Blackman would choose you probably over his wife, right? I pick Lee Priest. I want to go. He's my guy.
But he'd be like, Lee, we've been in this lockdown for 5 weeks and your glutes still aren't shredded. I knew I should have picked Kai. You're a dud.
You're not training. You're not squeezing when you're in the gym. You got to squeeze.
5 weeks we've been locked in this room together, Lee. I thought you would have learnt by now.
After Blackman watched that video that I put up that Kai sent me, he probably texting Kai, you look great. We want to put you on the cover and make you a star.
Can you send me one of these videos? PS minus the pants. Could you imagine? It would be great that, like I said, I was surprised that time, was it 2 years ago when I was at the Olympia and he came over and spoke to me?
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Yeah, it was funny. It was like,
seeing an ex-girlfriend. It's like seeing an ex-girlfriend, yeah.
It's like he saw me, he's like, and I thought, here we go, he's going to say something. He was so happy. I always stuck up for you, Lee. I always supported you. I always
supported you after I got you in trouble for writing the articles you didn't want to write.
Then fired you because they told me to. It's like, but I've always been there for you. Like I said, he'd be great. Like I said, he'd be great to have on the show just to interview.
Oh, my God, yeah, it would be great.
It's like he must know everything that we say about him. Yeah. Here we are again, just in fun. It's like just for fun. It's not serious. No. It's like if he called you up, I'm sure you'd talk fine to him.
Absolutely.
John said he wouldn't. John said he'd tell him to fuck off, but Dave would.
John probably would, but I would get him on the show and interview him in a second because it would be a great interview because I know the whole history of what he's done, and it's pretty impressive.
And that's the thing, you're not going to bring up anything nasty or talk nasty. It'd just be a good interview. Start off with why does the magazine suck now?
No,
I don't even see it here in Australia. Oh, the lights are gone out. Last drinks, last call, last dance.
The lights are out in the city.
Grab your partner, last dance.
That that's Tyler letting us know that it's time to wrap up the show.
Sure.
Look, Tyler's running the show now. You give him a fucking camera and a microphone, he fucking takes over.
That's right.
Fucking start. Oh yeah, it's a flashy light.
On its last legs, yeah.
The light's bright.
Yeah. They used to do it at the blue. They used to do it at the blue light disco. They'd flash the light and say, "Last song of the night, grab your partner."
That's right. Cowabunga!
Last song of the night, grab your partner and give her a finger pop before you got to go home. Then you get outside the disco and say, "Remember Michelle in there? Remember Michelle? That's Michelle."
The show always disintegrates at the end somehow. I don't know how.
Well, you turned the lights off. It got me in the mood, Dave. I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
you're looking sexy in that silhouette.
I got to do the Kai Greene moves.
Oh yeah. Well, send it to me on video because I can replay it over and over.
I'll let you know if you think I should make a comeback.
What's that? If you keep doing that, I'll come on your back.
Yeah, all right. I'm wrapping this up. I'm Dave Palumbo.
I told you I
very
need new
nauseous right
headphones.
now with Lee Priest. We'll see you next week.
Don't blame me. I told you these earphones were messing up. I'm sure you said come on your back.